Hello, children. Welcome back. I hope you all are ready with your textbooks and a pencil. Let me ask you something. Do you like to eat good and healthy food? The answer is positively yes. We all know that food gives us energy, which keeps us active throughout the day. We also require food for healthy growth of body. But what about brain? As our body requires good food and exercise, our brain also requires exercise. You have to use or lose. Can brain eat food? Of course, no. Can brain walk or run or play like you? No, no, never. Then how to give exercise to brain? Let me help you out. Solve good puzzles that are challenging and really good for your brain. Along with that, try to read good books. Try to read good stories that will give good moral. These all activities help to give a good exercise to our brain. We all like to read and listen to stories, and why not? We immediately connect ourselves with the character of these stories, and most important part is these stories teach us good values. They help us to understand what is good and bad, what is right and what is wrong. We can easily differentiate between what is right and what is wrong. In short, they help us to become a good person, a good human being, isn't it? Now, as you all are ready with your textbook, please turn to chapter number 2, page number 2. Aesop's Fables. Aesop's Fable is a collection of fables credited to Aesop. He was a great storyteller, believed to have lived in ancient Greece, and these stories are compiled as Aesop's Fable. And the interesting part is, in these stories, the main characters are played by animals. They think, talk, and act like human beings. Interesting, isn't it? So, what are we going to do with pencil? We are going to underline some words, some new words that we are going to learn in our lesson. Shall we start reading? Chapter number 2, Aesop's Fables. Fables are short stories that have a moral or message for us, something to learn and keep in mind as we grow up. Most of the fables have animal characters who think and act like just human beings. It is believed that many of the fables were first told by a wise person called Aesop. Aesop lived hundreds of years ago in a country called Greece. His stories became so popular that people passed them on from generation to generation. Many proverbs and sayings that we use today are based on these fables. Here are two well known fables. So, in this chapter, we are going to learn wonderful two stories that will convey a good moral. What are these morals? After reading the story, whatever we understand is good for us. That is the moral of the story. The things that we are supposed to do and the things that we are not supposed to do. Generation to generation. Now, you must be hearing stories from your mother as well as grandmother too. Our mother have heard these stories from her mother. This goes on from generation to generation. Right? So, the first story is Stag at the Pool. One thing I forgot to ask you, what is a proverb? Proverb can be short, well-known sentence that give us advice. For example, time is money. A penny is mightier than a sword. A friend in need is a friend indeed. There are many more. So, our story begins. The title or heading of the story is The Stag at the Pool. One day, a beautiful stag is a male deer. One day, a beautiful stag came to a pool of clear water. As he bent down to drink, he saw his own reflection in the water. He was delighted with what he saw. Instead of drinking water, he kept looking at his own reflection. Tell me one thing, what do we see in the mirror? We see our image. We can see the reflection in mirror, as well as there is one more thing in which we can see our reflection, that is clear water. So this stag is a male deer, and we all know that as we require water, we require food. The animals also become thirsty. So the stag was thirsty, and he came to a pool of clear water. Now, since the water was clear and stable, as soon as he bent down to drink, he saw himself. He saw his own reflection. He saw his image in the water, and he was delighted. Delighted is he became very happy with what he saw. Instead of drinking water, he kept looking at his own reflection. That is, he kept looking at his own image. You can see a pool of clear water, a stag coming near the pool to drink water. And since the water is so clear, he could see his own reflection. How handsome I look, he said to himself. How beautiful are these curving antlers. How they add to my beauty. How graceful they look. So he was very happy to look at himself. The antlers, you can see these are on his head, the curving antlers. And he thought that the antlers are making him look so good, so graceful, so beautiful. Then he moved near and saw his legs reflected in the pool. He was quite disgusted. He was unhappy by looking at his leg. He was happy to look at his antlers because he thought that the antlers are making him look good. But as soon as he saw at his leg, what he thought? He was disgusted, not happy. He became sad. Look at my legs. Ah, they are so ugly, all spindly with small feet. How I wish that nature had given me legs worthy of my stately antlers. He thought that his legs should have been more beautiful. As his antlers were beautiful, so his legs too. But we all know that the leg of deers are quite thin, because if the legs are otherwise beautiful and not ugly or thin, the deer cannot run fast. We know that the deer always runs very fast, because if a hunter or any wild animal is after it, the legs are going to save it. Page number 3, next page. You can see hunter chasing a deer. I have written the word meanings for you. Many new words we have learned on the first page. Fables, a short story with animals as characters. From generation to generation, from parents to children through the years. Stag is a male deer. Reflection, the image of something in a mirror or water. Antlers, horns that grow on the head of a male deer. Disgusted, feeling strong dislike or disapproval. Spindly, very long and thin. Stately is grand. As he was brooding in this way, thinking and just moving around very slowly, because the thought of ugly legs was making him unhappy. The thought of antlers made him happy, but the thought of having ugly, thin legs was making the deer quite unhappy. As he was brooding in this way, the stag heard an arrow going swish across the pool. At the same time, he picked up the scent of hunters. With a quick turn, he bounded away. His legs carried him swiftly into the forest. The hunters were hot on his trail, but they were no match for his speed. Soon the stag left the hunters far behind. So he was in his own thought, but then suddenly, what happened? An arrow came across the pool, and we all know that the smelling sense of all the animals is very good. It's always better than a bee. the human beings, because this smelling sense enables them to stay away from their predators. So as soon as he picked up the scent or the smell of hunters, he bounded away, he ran away. And how could he run away? Because of his thin feet. The hunters were hot on his trail. It means they were very close to him to catch him. But they were no match for his speed. If we decide to have a race with any of the animal, like a deer, who is going to win? Of course, the deer, because we are no match for his speed. Soon the stag left the hunters far behind. Few meanings again. Brooding, thinking sadly for a long time. Swish, to move quickly through the air, making a soft rushing sound. Bounded, to run with great steps. Hot on his trail, very close to him, about to catch him. Safe and out of hunter's reach, the stag slowed down. Now he knew that now he's safe. Suddenly, without realizing it, he walked into a thicket. The deer could save himself from the hunter, but now what has happened? He walked into a thicket. Thicket is a collection of large number of trees, bushes, and these are growing very close together. There were trees with strong branches growing close together. And alas, the same antlers of which he was so proud got caught in the thick growth. So, what has happened? He could save his life from the hunters, but then he did not realize, the stag did not realize that he had entered into a thicket. He had walked into a thicket. Now, these trees growing very close together, the branches growing so close together that his antlers got entangled. How they got entangled? Because these were curving. The stag tried to shake himself free, but the more he struggled, the more entangled his antlers got in the branches. So he was trying very hard. He was trying very hard to free up himself, to free up his antlers from the branches. But as he was trying hard, the more he tried, the more entangled his antlers got in the branches. Once again, the stag could hear the hunters drawing close and grew afraid. Naturally, he got afraid because he had to save his life. But if he was not able to free himself up, what was going to happen? The hunters could easily catch him. Sorry. At last, with great difficulty, he managed to free his antlers and bound away. Somehow, finally, he managed to get himself free, and he managed to run away. Managed to run away from the hunters, managed to save his life. I realize now that my ugly feet saved my life. I was so proud of these handsome antlers, but they would have been the cause of my death. Very often we dislike the very things that are most useful to us. He realized antlers, no doubt, made him look beautiful, made him look good. But the thing that was most important for his life were his thin, ugly feet. And due to these thin, ugly feet, he could save his life. So he realized that sometimes we dislike the things that are useful to us, right? So, moral of the story, do not dislike the things that are most useful to us. So, please keep in mind, read good books, eat good food, eat healthy food, because sometimes we wish to eat some junk food like pizza, burger, but we must understand that these things are not useful for us. And fruits, green vegetables, all the vegetables, I would say, the food that is cooked by your mother is always good and useful to you. So I hope you have understood well the story, and new words, I will write the new words and I will provide you the list in the next period. So that is all for today. Try to read the lesson again, try to underline the new words, and try to find out the meaning using a dictionary. And right now, don't write anything regarding chapter 2 because we have to yet to complete the chapter. Till then, stay indoors, stay safe. Thank you.